Hey, well, oh shit, wait. Hey, welcome back to Metroid Fusion. On the last episode, we got the speed booster, which lets us do that. We could speed through enemies real quick, and we could speed through these little blocks here, which we're about to do. The game does a pretty good job of teaching you how to use it. Actually, it's cool. You just do that. It was different in Super Metroid in that you had to. Well, before I say that, the Super Nintendo had the advantage of having 4 face buttons as opposed to 2 on the Game Boy Advance. So because of that, obviously you had greater control of what you could do. And because of that, in Super Metroid, you could run and walk. So like, say this was just walking, you could hold B, I think it was, and you would run like way faster. And once you ran a certain distance, as opposed to just, or I guess sprint is a better word because you're running anyway. But once you sprint a certain distance, then the speed booster goes off. In this game, you just hold the direction and it goes. A little bit different. I don't really feel one way or the other about it. It's sort of just a hardware limitation, I guess, in the most literal term. So we just gotta speed through here. Oh fuck, that's not what I wanted to do. And when we press this button, we're going to lower the water level, and as such, we can now access different parts of this area. I just took a drink, just to clarify. I wasn't just stopping talking. We can now access different parts of this area that we couldn't access before because of this electrocuted water, which I'm pretty sure the computer mentioned at some point. I just obviously didn't acknowledge it. We still are sort of immobile in water though, so we can't really do anything. We can't speed boost when we're running in water, so we actually just have to make sure we're on solid ground before we start doing that. Now, what is down here? I actually can't. Oh, okay, yeah. You know what? That's something from way later in the game. So don't worry about that for now. What we are going to worry about is hopping down here, because we have to speed through here, but we have to clear out these guys first. And once we do that, I think there's one more. Yeah. We have to speed through this wall. So we're going to run over here. Be sure not to hit those wires, because those are still live. But before we head out, though, there's this missile tank that we can grab real quick. And next time I get a chance, something I want to demonstrate is shine sparking, which you've probably heard of. It was first done in Super Metroid, where when you're... Oh, fuck. I can actually show it off now, because I have to speed through that, too. You, like, crouch... that wasn't the best example, but when you're speed boosting and then you crouch mid-speed boost, you can jump in a certain direction and you'll speed through and you'll still have all the effects of speed boost, which helps you get to different areas that you normally wouldn't be able to access unless you use use shine sparking. Which there aren't very many examples of this. I don't think there's any required areas where you have to speed boost, but there are certain items you can access only with speed boosting. It gets kind of complicated and kind of weird. So if that's your thing, then go for it. Otherwise, you don't really need to worry about it. All you need to know is that has just, you know, you run for a certain distance and then you can speed boost. So I'm gonna take a drink while this guy's rattling off about whatever. Okay, so I think we have to go to the super missile now, which is just a better missile. In Super Metroid, it was just a different weapon altogether, and you would use it for different things. But in this game, it just replaces with the missile you have now. It just has more damage. And there's no super missile doors or anything, so all you do with it is you can kill certain things that you couldn't kill with normal missile, and you do more damage, so it's useful. So we're gonna head over to Sector 3 now. I'm done fucking blabbing. In my review of this game, I talked about I talked about the computer and how he's kind of annoying because you have to listen to him babble on, and then you know, he tells you to go somewhere, and then you do the thing, and then you come back. And I still stand by that I don't really like it. I think I said somewhere in my script that, like, I like how the game goes about doing it, but I might have been talking about the opening scene. Yeah, actually I was. I don't like how the game does story, besides the opening scene, because I think that was well done. However, I fucking hate just listening to him talk. And you know, I've talked about all this before, but I feel like it's worth reiterating. I can appreciate when someone puts a twist on the formula. I do. I can definitely appreciate it. No matter if I think it's good or bad. Personally, I think Metroid Fusion does a really bad job of telling the story. That's just me. Because I know I'm sort of comparing, and I don't like comparing, like, to a degree. I don't like comparing because it's like, well, this game did this, so why can't this game do this? But, you know, well, what do you really gain out of saying that, you know? It just is. You know, Metroid Fusion is its own thing. Despite the fact that it's part of a series. I mean, hell, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, I've never played it, but it's not Banjo-Kazooie. It's not a fucking Banjo-Kazooie game, but they still... Yeah, you know, that's an example of a bad rendition of a formula, because I think John Tron explained it best in his video, which is fucking great, by the way. You should watch it. What am I doing? That's not where I'm supposed to go. Yeah, he does a great job of explaining his video, where you can't take a formula, put a spin on it, but still keep the old game mechanics. Like, Nuts and Bolts is notorious for this, and that's because what it did was, you know, the cars, it has the cars, right? But it still has the worlds of a Banjo-Kazooie, of like it has levels that represent, or resemble rather, levels of like the of the old games. That doesn't work because you don't collect jiggies that way, or at least as far as I know you don't. So I feel like that's an example of a spin on a formula gone wrong. Metroid Fusion, I don't think went wrong. I think it was just misguided, is all. I appreciate where they were going with it, but I just don't like how they did it. Because the magic of Metroid is you sort of learn the story for yourself just through playing the game. You don't do that in this game. They just fucking tell you what the story is, and that could be good or bad depending on, you know, depending on what game you're playing, or just what you feel is correct. But the truth is, in my opinion, they shouldn't have done that for this game. If this was like, maybe not. I was gonna say if this was just this game, but it wasn't called Metroid, and it wasn't Samus, and it didn't have, you know, the Metroids or whatever, then it could probably pass off as its own thing, but it couldn't, because it would still be a Metroid game. Like, Axiom Verge is a fucking Metroid game. Obviously, it's very heavily inspired by Metroid, so, you know, but like, I don't know, I'm kind of babbling at this point, but all I'm trying to say is, I just don't like how this game presents story, and I think they just could have done it better by simply allowing the player to experience the story for themselves by just letting them fucking play the game instead of just choking them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with a story-driven game. Absolutely not. I would never insinuate something like that. Absolutely not. Story-driven games are great. But for God's sakes, this is Metroid. This is not Metal Gear. I don't know. That's just me. I actually think I might be wrong, but I think Metal Gear Solid 5 actually doesn't really have that much story, which is definitely a bit of a departure, that's for sure. But anyway, we're about to fight this boss. It's a big security... Oh, that's right, I have to... Duh. It's a big security robot, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to fight, but we actually have to head over to the other edge of the room first before we can actually trigger the fight. Because we're like, oh no, we can't go anywhere. And then we go back over here, and it's like, oh no, what's going on? There's just a guy. Oh no, it's a robot. So basically all you have to do is just hang from these... I don't even know what you would call it. You just have to hang from the ceiling. And you have to avoid these little fire pillars. Which I'm actually doing an amazing job at. Holy shit. I'm actually usually really bad at this fight. Oh, okay. Just as I said. Ooh, did I hit him twice? I'm a god. Oh, holy shit. Ooh, oh my god. I did that really well. Wow. I destroyed that boss. Okay. I'll take it. Well, I didn't even acknowledge that we got the super missiles, but we did. Yeah, I think that'll be all for now. So next time on Metroid Fusion, we are going to use our newfound super missiles and see what they got. We can already see how strong we are. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.